This has emboldened me to share some of my paranormal experiences in our house. I have some other ones from earlier in my childhood, but this is the most recent one because it's ongoing. So my husband and I bought our house, and we were newlyweds, which was, that was in 2011. So what, 12-ish years ago or something. And we moved in. It was, fine. Everything was fine. The house was redone. It was repossessed when we got it, so the bank had came through and redone it all. It was great. It was new. We moved in. We got settled in, and I found myself after like a few months, like feeling like I was being watched, and it was always in a certain part of our house. It'd be like where I'm sitting now. I can look to the kitchen, to our dining room, or down the hallway, and is always in the hallway. I always felt like I would make eye contact or see somebody. That's how intense the feeling was. So I keep those little things to myself, and I just kind of continue on with things. I don't say anything to my husband because, there's a running joke between us since we've been together since we were teenagers. Like, oh, I always find paranormal things. I'm always thinking something is haunted. So I'm just like not wanting to be teased about my feeling, even though he would have listened to me. But then, life goes on. We end up having kids. And when I'm pregnant with my second, my oldest came to me and goes, "Can you come get this guy out of my room, Mom? He's bothering me." There's no one in his room. I walk back there, no one. He points to the corner, says, "Him, right there. He needs to get out of my room. I'm trying to play." Okay, so I tell the guy to leave. We don't have time for him. I think my exact words were, "Hey, if there's anyone in here, we do not have time for you right now. You need to leave. You're bothering my child and making him uncomfortable. You need to get out." Done. So a few months later, my best friend has made friends with someone who is a medium, and she's doing readings at her house. And of course, I'm interested to go. Of course, I go in with some skepticism because I want to really put her to the test, and so I don't give too much away. And she's giving me a reading. It's fairly standard, and all of a sudden she goes, "Do you know you have an older gentleman with you?" And in my back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, my husband's dad had passed away right when we got married, so it's probably him. And she goes on to say, I said, "Oh." And so the medium, who is now a close friend, goes, "Yeah, it's not family. It's not family that's with you. It's just an older gentleman. And you to tell him you don't have time for him?" And she starts laughing, and I'm internally kind of freaking out because the only other person who's really heard me say that out loud is my 3-year-old who's not there with me and who would not have been able to, tell anybody. My mommy tells people who aren't there she doesn't have time for them. So I kind of laugh it off and tell her, "Oh, that's weird." And she goes, "Yeah, he's gentle. He's a gentle soul though, so I'm not really sure." And I didn't know either. So we just, finished up. Time goes on. The medium becomes a close friend of mine as well. And I go on to have another boy who grows and gets big, and we're getting to about 2020 now. And he comes out from our bedroom after getting some screen time and goes, "Mom, will you tell Ghost Daddy to leave me alone? He's bothering me." So I set my third child down in the pack and play and walk back to my bedroom where there's nobody. And I say, "So where did you see this person?" My child points to an empty bathroom, and I say, "Okay, whoever is here needs to leave. You're bothering my child, and you are no longer welcome. Thank you." So after I do that, I haven't heard anything else from my kids. And finally, I ask my friend who's a medium to come back and come to my house. And I just want her to walk through and just tell me, maybe we just needed to do some cleansing, some refresh. So she agreed, and she came. And after she did her initial walkthrough, she looked at me and goes, "Do you know that older gentleman's here with you?" And I said, "No, who is it?" Because by this point she knew who my father-in-law was, and she knew personal details of my life. And she came back to the guy she originally saw with me the first time we ever met, which was crazy in hindsight. And it turns out it was a gentleman who had been in charge of taking care of our property while the bank was redoing everything and trying to get it on the market before we bought it. He had a heart attack and died on our property, and we had no idea at all. And, these details were surprising to her as well as me. And so she, told him he didn't know what was going on, apparently. And he didn't know what happened, and he didn't know who we were, and he didn't know why he was stuck here, allegedly. So she gave him some kind encouragement and let him know that, you are dead. This is where you need to go. These people mean you no harm. You're kind of freaking their kids out, though. So if you could just be, more mindful, that'd be great. And we did some saging, and we did some things to just make sure the house was fresh. And then I happened to be talking to my neighbors who have lived next door to us for about, I lived next door to this house for 30 years, and they're amazing. And I was telling my neighbors about, this experience, and she goes, "Oh yeah, there was a gentleman that did pass away on your property while he was mowing the yard. It happened in the front yard." Consider my mind blown. So it kind of made me feel validated. But so that's been the biggest thing. I'm pretty sure the gentleman still hangs around. He's very harmless. I still get feelings of being watched every once in a while. And I literally do say, I do not have time for you right now. I have 4 kids. Unless you're here to help me with them or pay some bills, I don't have time. So just find some light, find some warmth, and go hang out there for a while. Thanks. There are some other things that happen here that I'm pretty sure aren't related to Mr. Caretaker guy. We don't really know his name. I've decided not to look into that too far, because I feel like sometimes if you give energy to certain things, then it becomes more active, I guess. But there's some other things we've had happen that I'm happy to share, just with strange occurrences, doors opening, me lucid dreaming, my husband seeing stuff, my youngest boy, who's 3, sharing some off-the-wall things where I'm wondering where the heck he even got an idea of sorts. So while my experience isn't super scary this time around, it's definitely odd, in my opinion, or validating, however you want to see that, but it's definitely spooky.